that's going to cause a lot of, I think, earthquake activity. The crazy, what was it? IS5, whatever, IS3, Atlas. So Atlas shrugged that's coming in. It's definitely going to cause a problem, I think, as it comes close to the sun. Comes close to the sun towards the end of October, I think 29, 30. It'll probably activate the sun. What we're seeing right now, we're seeing massive earthquake activity all over the world, and it's going to get worse, I believe, as we get closer to the end of the year or the end of October. So the October, very scary, Halloween timeframe, and stock market crashing. It's all very, very 3i Atlas, yes, Atlas. Boo boo, very good. So it's all coming to a head, and I think that a lot of predictions and so forth, a lot of people are having, myself included, are getting near and near. So another prediction that I had was that the stock market would crash. So it's not going to completely crash this yet. I believe it's going to take a nice little dive. It did today quite substantially. We're going to go into more detail about that in a little bit. Also, crypto took a pretty good dive, but it hit a support level and it bounced. So at this point, it's bounced back up. And after hours, the stock market continued to go down. It hit a certain level and it bounced as well. So who knows? Maybe on Monday it'll recover a little bit before it starts to head back down again. I think it's going to go down pretty substantially, but then we'll see. We'll see what happens after that. Could see more substantial upside at some point, but I think there's going to be very, very scary October in a lot of different ways. So Trump basically came out with tariffs on China, 100% tariffs or something crazy, and stock market obviously didn't like that, so it took a big dive. Crypto took a big dive because when the NASDAQ goes down, crypto goes down. I've talked about that. Now, what did go down today? I think you guys know. Silver and gold went up. At one point, they were up substantially. They pulled back. They dipped into the red, and then they recovered. And I think that's the way it's going to be going forward for silver and gold. We'll probably see a lot of people going into silver and gold because it's safety. People are starting to see it as safety now. There's also massive drawdowns in the stock of real silver because there's markets that are basically on paper 30-1. So you have 30 paper, silver, and then just one real contract of silver. So 30 contracts of, we'll supply you with silver, but they don't have anything to back it. So that's coming to a head. And we've seen silver already do a massive spike, and then it pulled back, which I said that it will probably bounce back and forth over 50, build a nice base, and then take off and never look back. All right. Well, maybe at some point, 10 years down the road, it might come back, but it's gonna go to Venus, right? Planet of love. So we're all gonna love it, going to those levels. Now, as far as like 3i Atlas, coming close to the sun, and that happens around the end of October. It's probably, as it seems like it's already starting to do, it's going to really activate the sun, coronal holes and so forth. We just had some serious earthquakes, and let's look at pretty much what's been going on for a little bit of time for over the last 3 weeks to a month. We've been seeing some significant earthquake activity. It plays along the line of what I've been predicting, that we're going to see a Cascadia fault basically hit, and then once it hits, it's going to domino into the San Andreas, the Hayward fault, and all kind of crazy stuff. So Let's see. There we go. All right. On the pulse with Silky. She's been covering this stuff quite well. So just, I don't know, maybe less than an hour ago or so, we had a 7.8 earthquake, very, very big, in the Drake Passage, which is down at Antarctica and the tip of Argentina. So right in that passage right there, fault. Yesterday, we had a 7.6 in the Philippines. These are big, and both of these have tsunami warnings. So tsunami warning for that. There was a tsunami warning for this. I don't think it really panned out to be anything. And so we had large earthquakes in Iceland, 5.2. We have a underwater volcano about to blow off the Oregon coast. We have Kamchatka, more earthquakes or volcanoes being activated. Santorini, volcanic crisis. Campi Flegrei, volcanic crisis. 6.9 9 days ago in the Philippines. So that was basically a foreshock. We thought that was just a massive earthquake, but it was a foreshock. So foreshock being 6.9, that's pretty substantial. Now, and then we just had the 7.6. Are we going to have an 8 point something in the Philippines next? It's possible. It's possible. And then we look down the line, Oregon, 5.9 strong earthquake off the coast. So all of this is building, guys. We're starting to build. Another 7.8 3 weeks ago in Kamchatka. And, you know, there's all these, another one, 7.7. Of course, we had the 8.7 that caused a massive tsunami. Not that big, but it caused a tsunami that spread around the whole Pacific. Now, this is what I want to kind of focus on right here.
Would you say I'm crazy if I told you that the big magnitude 9+ mega thrust earthquake plus a 100 feet tsunami, the big one, Cascadia Fault, is not the worst case scenario for the West Coast?
So it's not the worst case. The worst case would be, like I've been saying, you're going to have 1,000-foot tsunami because this stuff has been building. It's overdue. So when something's overdue, it gets bigger, right, ladies? Right. And then when it comes out, it's much more painful, right? So that is what we're going to see with this earthquake in the Cascadia. It's way overdue. And there's also other ones that are way overdue. San Andreas is overdue. All right, they usually happen every 100, 120 years at the most. So we're overdue for a lot of these earthquakes, and the Kamchatka earthquakes that we're seeing right now, they trigger around the fault. So it's building up energy, spreading that energy, and it's getting dammed up, I believe, in Cascadia. So when that goes, it will cause a domino effect that will hit the San Andreas that has been stacked up and hasn't gone off in a while, building up energy. And it will also hit the Hayward. So a lot of people don't know about the Hayward. Hayward is right next to the San Andreas. So the San Andreas, the Hayward fault line, in the past, it hasn't been a big deal because there hasn't been anything on the Hayward fault line. So it would go off and everybody's like, oh, that was a big earthquake. But now there's lots of houses and buildings and all kind of stuff on the Hayward fault line. So there could be significant damage, and it could cascade over to fault lines in Nevada. Where I'm at here in Lake Tahoe, there's a fault line that goes right through the lake here. So there's some of us have been seeing, these tsunamis that have come. I've been seeing tsunamis for years that are here in Lake Tahoe and up in Mount Shasta. And I was like, how is that possible? If that would happen, it just basically just wipe out everything up to the point. But it's because of the lakes. So the lakes are going to slosh and cause these crazy flooding events. from these earthquakes that are going to happen. And there's evidence that has happened in the past, right? And then the flood basically that happens when this lake right here sloshes and goes down the river and then takes out Reno, right? And this has happened in the past. So this is not something new. There's evidence of all these things happening in the past, and there's time frames where it usually happens. So it's a pattern, and this pattern is way overdue. So because it's way overdue, like I said, baby stays in the womb too long, it gets big and it's very painful birth. So that's what we're going to see with these earthquakes when they do happen, causing a lot more damage than normal. So we have a 3i atlas coming in close. It's already starting to activate the sun. That's a lot of the stuff that we're starting to see with the coronal holes and the ejections and all the sunspot activity that's starting to happen as 3i atlas comes in close to the sun. So like I said, the end of October is when it comes the closest to the sun. I think the 28th, 29th, 30th, around that time frame. And if it activates the sun, which I think it's going to, then from that point on, we could see a pretty crazy Halloween, right? So all of this solar activity that's happening affects human consciousness. So October is usually a time frame where the stock market crashes. If you go back in time, October is where a lot of crashes happen. So we saw the beginnings of what could be a significant crash starting today. So let's look at a little bit more of this potential Cascadia megaquake.
It's not. You would ask, what else? What could be worse? Hey guys, this is so bad you won't believe this. This is actually worse. This is like the two biggest tragedies ever combined and worse. So a new study has found this, and it's absolutely insane. So imagine you own a townhome and you're stuck to your neighbor. They're basically everything accelerates, and that had happened in Myanmar. That's why they were wondering why everything was so bad and the fault ruptured so long. So this is bad, and it's bad for California because the San Andreas fault can have a super share earthquake. So my yesterday video made it already worse. I'm sorry for everyone that's living in California. I love California. I went to university there in San Diego and in Santa Barbara. So this is really bad. But I'm living along the Cascadia subduction zone, the dangerous, the big one, guys. So I think some Californians are like, thankfully, we only have the San Andreas fault, right? We have the Cascadia fault that could produce a magnitude 9 megathrust earthquake with a tsunami that reaches the coast within 8 to 15 minutes. And that tsunami could be as high as 100 feet, 30 meters, or even higher. And even worse, when the earthquake happens, it's a subduction zone and it's stuck. The land will jump up and it will sink probably at least 6 feet. So if you're standing on the beach, you're dealing with liquefaction, everything sinking 6 feet, which makes the tsunami even more powerful. And scientists say this is the earthquake that will destroy the Pacific Northwest, that will rip open everything west of I-5. That's the highway that goes from California all the way through Oregon, Washington, into British Columbia, Canada, that will also be affected, Western Canada, from that Cascadia fault. The Cascadia fault runs along Vancouver Island. Victoria will be heavily, heavily affected. But here's the problem. If the San Andreas fault ruptures, super, super bad. If the San Andreas fault ruptures in a super shear earthquake, absolutely disastrous. You have to watch the video. I explain what that is. It'll blow your mind. I promise this. It'll be in the end screen. But now, let's talk about two neighbors, San Andreas fault and Cascadia fault. And knowledge up to date was they can't trigger each other. The San Andreas Fault can't trigger the big.
Yeah. So science now is saying that not only can they, but they have in the past. So both of them overdue. So when you have something that's overdue as far as like building tension within fault lines, something very minor could trigger them. So we're not going to have something minor. We're going to have something very major. So you see how these earthquakes are happening right now. We just had the sun have a big coronal hole, and it faced the earth, and then we had those earthquakes, guys. So we're going to be around the end of October. This coronal hole that keeps having triggering these big earthquakes is going to be facing us once again. So you're going to have the 3i Atlas, coming very close to the sun during that time frame, and it's going to like trigger this stuff. It's going to activate the sun, and the sun is going to like kick some energy out on a massive scale, and it's going to impact the earth, and that could trigger, if not these earthquakes, then earthquakes somewhere else. I believe this is coming. There's other people who have predicted this for the end of the month. You have to trust your own intuition of what you're going to do. Just like I can tell you that the stock market is going to crash, and if it doesn't crash today, that I say it's going to crash at some point near term, right? So here we are 2 weeks later, it's crashing. There were people that came on and like hammered me, say like, I've had this so much over the last several years where people have come out and hammered me, and I'm just sharing information that I get from source, right? So I'm just a dude, so hammer me whatever you want, but I'm putting this stuff out. It doesn't matter whether it does matter ultimately, but to me, I'm just putting the information out there. Do with it what you will, right? Make your own intuitive, ideas of what you want to do. 5 years ago, I was saying we're going to have massive, problems in cities. Cities going to be destroyed, and here we are 5 years later. So you had 5 years to prepare, right? 5 years to get out of those big cities, and here we are. They're starting to erupt. How long before we see the final stage of them completely destroyed? I don't know, but it's coming. And I said it 5 years ago, and now people are saying it within the last year, and then the last 6 months, and now we're getting down to the wire. So plan as you will what you're going to do. So I've said that Christmas is going to be very sad, right? There's always Christmas cheer. We'll celebrate how we celebrate, but I think there's going to be, I see a hanging, something hanging over Christmas. So that means some kind of event, massive event is coming, I believe, unfortunately. So is this it? Is this the thing that's coming? I think there's a very good chance, unfortunately. So we'll see. Like I said, I have to plan. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen because maybe prayer, maybe because it never was going to happen anyway. I don't know. Because when, we didn't see the crash in the stock market, I was like, well, maybe I didn't get that right. And today it crashed. So that's the kind of way these things work. They don't always happen when you think they are. So here it is. There's information. Keep following this information. Keep looking at what's happening. If the earthquakes continue to accelerate, get bigger, and we see that there's obvious pressure coming into certain areas, or maybe some areas going to erupt, Camp Flagré, I think it's very, very strong chance that it will have a massive eruption, volcanic eruption there. Maybe that will happen before Cascadia goes. But at some point, Cascadia goes, right? And then to San Andreas. They're both overdue. So I don't know. Maybe it goes another 10, 20, 50 years. Who knows? Or maybe it goes in October where all this energy is coming in and possibly, potentially impacting an area that's building up tension and has been building tension, and it's overdue to release. All right. So Stefan Burns also is putting out the word that things are getting biblical. Right? They're getting biblical. So it's happening as forecast. Global seismic swarm accelerates with 7.6 Drake Passage earthquake. So Stefan Burns, definitely another guy, another person that's really on top of this. Things are starting to get biblical, as he says here, right? 3i Atlas closes in, and NASA is silent. NASA is silent. We're not getting any visuals on this. We got all these space telescopes and all that kind of stuff, and they're not giving us any insight of what this is, guys. You guys know what I think it is. It's a craft, right? It's a designed craft, and there's intelligent life within it. So now it looks like a rock formation, and it does have a rock formation that basically protects the inner craft as well. So huge shock wave is approaching Earth. All right. So this was 3 days ago. So 3 days ago, huge shock wave approaching Earth. And now we have all these earthquakes popping off. So we know what's causing these earthquakes now. And this year is one of the most active years since the history of taking current earthquake activity. It is the most active, and we're not done yet. We're not done with this year. So is it still building? Was the 8.8 that we saw in Kamchatka a foretaste of what's coming? I think it is. I think we have a 9 to a 10 that's coming. And I think we'll see a 9, and then we're going to see a 10 after that, right? A 9 would be unbelievably devastating. That's what hit in Indonesia. And I think we had like a 250 million people died from that. So it's 250 million, some crazy amount. So there's definitely the possibility, or hundreds of thousands, I think it was millions, but there's definitely a lot of people that are going to be impacted if Cascadia goes. Unbelievable amount of people, right? Well into the millions, and I think tens of millions. The same thing could happen potentially with Campi Flegrei. So that's 2 potential major earthquakes and volcanoes that could happen. Earthquake, tsunami, earthquakes, massive earthquake activity. Of course, if you have the San Andreas going off just by itself, there could be, if it's a big one, there could be devastating loss of life. If there's a tsunami that's coming in, the impacts, like you saw, all of the Northwest, it's going to be absolutely devastating, massive loss of life. And that's probably what I'm seeing for a very sad Christmas. So what we normally see when we have earthquake activity, we have other countries, other surrounding areas will come in and help. Now, if we have a massive tsunami and multiple earthquakes happening at the same time in that same area, there's not going to be a lot of help for those people, unfortunately. So that's going to cause even more loss of life. So that's a potential that you got to look at, right? And prepare yourself for. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But we need to talk about it because everything's starting to point in that direction. And those of us that see into the future and can see things coming ahead of time, which I've been seeing this for years coming. I didn't know when it was coming, but I'm getting a lot of tension now. All right. When I get a lot of tension, that means something's very close. Right. Is it close for California? And well, the Cascadia, because it's not just California, it's Oregon, Washington, and up into Canada as well. But am I seeing that for that area, or is it for, like I predicted, there would be a big one off the coast of Japan? Will we see that first, or will it trigger all the other things around the Ring of Fire? Because it basically travels around. It'll start, let's say, in Japan, and then travel around up through Alaska and down the Pacific coast, bringing that energy. So if something triggers and you don't see it being triggered some other place, that means the energy is flowing, and then it gets stuck. A lot of times it gets stuck somewhere, builds up, and then it releases. And that's where you have the big earthquakes, right? So getting close. So Elizabeth April said they have been moving the timeline around to avoid the Cascades, but it has to happen. Yeah, I agree with her. Elizabeth April, another remote viewer, and she has other connections, channel stuff through. So yeah, she's been saying that for a little bit as well, that timelines have been moved, but it's getting to the point where at some point it has to happen. I think it was supposed to happen all the way back in 2012, and it got moved. So now we're moving it up to potentially current time frame, right? So we'll see. That's my thoughts on that. If it happens, we're gonna have real problems, right? Helping those people. Will that be the thing that brings the earth together? We're gonna have real problems, right?
Oh, General Green here. Oh.
How old do you think I am? Now how old do you think I am? Just a pea-size amount. I'm gonna place it right on this bag. It's gonna tighten up the bag, and then that's gonna pull that up and get rid of that. Do you see here?
I may be 53 years old, doesn't mean I have to look like it. So let me show you how I take care of these under eye wrinkles and bags with this brand new Instant Firmex Temporary Eye Tightener, the Easy Wear Formula. It's brand new, just released, and I'm just adding it on top of my makeup, dabbing and pressing right on top of my concealer. This new formula solves all the issues and problems that people had about the white residue, flaking, not working well with skincare and makeup. This new formula, no white residue. It's easier to apply. It's more comfortable to wear. It's more compatible with skincare and makeup. It's like the best of everything.
It took 10 years off my face.
Do you see the difference? You better grab this before it sells out.
You'll see it's a lot of the same thing, although the numbers here are really something. They're really bad. Now, we did send FBI in about 4 months ago to work, and it brought some of the...
But then that system grabs it right there. It has a system, and then it misses this whole area right here, and it brings impacts towards New England after that. You see that? It spins everything towards New England after that, and it misses Jersey altogether. You see that? So there could be an update on that where the impacts are a little bit less. Plus, the storm system coming in for this weekend will be a strong storm, not only for the Midwest and North Central, also into Canada, bringing a lot of winds, a lot of chances for blizzards still, and feet of snow. So you can see this when you look for a chance for a low pressure. So first you get that low pressure that intensifies Canada, bringing the 40, the 50 in the orange, the 60 in the red, 70 miles per hour wind gusts. This is a very strong system in general. So if you're in Canada, please be aware you have a powerful storm on your hands. At the same time, you can see over here for the Northeast that is missing a big section right here for winds because of what that low pressure is doing, transferring all the energy towards New England. So you see it pivots here, then it pivots here. And the latest update on the flooding is heavy. Now, this is going to bring a lot of beneficial rain because we are in a drought, everybody. But you can see over here for the next 5 days, as that system goes down California from Washington, Oregon, bringing anywhere from 1 to 2 inches. 2 is in that red, up to 3 in the darker red. Plus, you can see what comes through from Montana going into Canada. Bring that 1 to 2 inches of precipitation and a lot of snow. Look over here for the Four Corners going into Mexico. That's growing even more. And along the East Coast, showing anywhere from 1 to 3 inches are possible or more locally for New England and over here by the Carolinas. Showing the heaviest is over here for California, for Arizona, for New Mexico, far western Texas, Colorado, and Utah. Also for the East Coast, bring anywhere from 1 to 2, 1 to 3 inches all the way towards New England. Now we're seeing a different amount on the weather models. Now, if the Euro is correct, you see how it misses a whole area right here for very heavy precipitation because that low swings all the energy towards New England. GFS takes it a little further towards the coast where it doesn't affect it.
All right, so lots of rain, snow, lots of snow potential up into Canada, Montana. Yes, right, and then coming down into California and Utah, Nevada area where I'm at. Looks like some decent amounts of snow are going to start to come in. It's going to build on that a lot this year. There will be lots of snow this year for several areas of the United States. I think very, very high levels to the point where it's like way beyond records, right? So we'll see a lot of this happening in the coming months, of course, and it'll start to continually build. But of course, this 3i Atlas situation, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that, and hopefully it won't be as bad as many of us are predicting. All right, so let's look at what's going on with the markets. Like I said, I think we're going to see significant downside for a little bit of a period of time, probably for this month. And today, as you guys can see, this is the NASDAQ. It basically crashed pretty good today. It was down 876 after hours. It went down another at one point and went down another 1 point something percent. But right now it seems like it's kind of balanced out. It's not going down as much anymore. So actually recovered somewhat. Now, Bitcoin recovered a little bit. As you guys can see here, Bitcoin crashed pretty hard right there. I watched it crashing. I was like, wow, where is it going to hit my it's going to hit my 109 point? And I don't know if it reached, let's see, did it go down? Nope, 111 looks like well, this is recent. Well, this is recent. So what was that low there? 109. Yep. So I said a couple of weeks ago we could possibly see crypto go down to 109 and then hold that level. Let's look at the daily. That'll give us a little bit more insight. So as you can see, there's a little bit of support around the 109 area where it basically stopped out today. So it crashed down pretty hard. I think it was down 11,000, down 11,000 at one point or more. And now it's recovered somewhat. But we'll see over the weekend. We'll see what happens to crypto over the weekend. The next support level that I see, and it could actually reach that next week, I believe, is going to be down in the 90 level. Right. So now some people will be like, I'm out completely. So yeah, right in here, you see where that massive resistance is around the 90, 94, 93, 92 level. So that will be the next point where I would see it pull back to, and that could take a little bit of a time. It may go even lower, may go down to the 84 level. We'll see. Because I think the NASDAQ has a lot more downside in it. So if we look at the NASDAQ on the daily, you see all these gaps in here. Gaps, I say this over and over again all the time, gaps have to be filled, right? And the NASDAQ has been chugging up for a while now. It should have pulled back. Of course, you see there, that's a long candle down today. Now, where would be the next one that we're going to see? I think we're going to come down here potentially. Potentially, I mean, Monday it could go up and it could continue to go up, right? Because I think at some point it does go up, but I think we're going to see a pullback this month. Could see a pullback to 23. That's another 1,000-point drop. Today it was down 876, so it would be another, I guess, 4% drop. So that would bring it down around 7%. Ultimately, I think it's going to fill this gap, which is at 21. This gap that's a huge gap right there. It could get some pretty good resistance at 20,000. So that's 4,000 down from where it's at now. That's a pretty steep decline. But ultimately, the best scenario really for this thing to take off again would be if it fills up this last gap down here. So we had that stock market low back in April where it went all the way down to 16. I think it's possible that it could come all the way down to 18, 4, 5, 3, somewhere around in there, and hold that, test that, and then start to go back up, and maybe go back up for the rest of the year and into next year and reach new highs. That's what I'm seeing. All right, I think we're going to see a NASDAQ of maybe 30 to 32,000. But it has to. I think we're going to have a little pullback first. This is normally what happens before the last blow off. There's a pretty good washout where people, are very fearful. That fear creates a very good environment for, a last stock market push. So the stock market is the last thing to basically crash in our economy. Everything else has crashed and crashing, right? Now, as you guys can see, metals today, like I said, silver, it reached just below 50 on the COMEX. I guess other markets had a little bit higher, but this is what we're going to see bouncing around. See all this right here is building a very nice base here. And from this, we're going to go way beyond 50 at some point. So while the stock market's crashing, we could very possibly see silver and gold reach unbelievable new heights, right? So we'll see, because we saw basically as the stock market and crypto are crashing today, the last time back in April when the stock market crashed, you see that big dip back here. So this time it went up. So that's basically, a little bit down today, but it tested a low. Like I said, it's building a base, and I think it's going to go up, right? So that's what I've been saying. Silver is basically where you want to be. Will you get a buying opportunity? A lot of people are probably going to sell. They're going to panic and sell. That's going to drive crypto and the stock market down even more. That's pretty typical with these patterns where you have a massive greed. That's been, I think we're pegging out the greed index, and we need to build some fear in there, right, to make this thing really take off and go to a new height. So you could see after this pullback, and will it go all the way back to like I'm talking about? Maybe not. Maybe it only goes back. Maybe it pulls back a little bit, or maybe not at all. Maybe this is the pullback. Who knows? And then, like next week it takes off. But I've been seeing it, pull back and filling in those gaps and then taking off again. So, again, use your own best judgment. decide your own, timing and so forth. Today for, I think at one point, XRP was down, I think quite substantially, like crazy numbers, like 30%, 35% maybe down. It was down like 50 cents, I believe, maybe even more. But it could go a lot lower, right? Could go a lot lower. So don't think that, this is a buying opportunity. I've said that you should be getting out of XRP. You had your chance. You should have been at XRP when it was back in 50, where I was like jumping up and down. I said, I am dreaming that XRP is going to go like crazy. Put everything in XRP, and then XRP went up. And then I said, it's time to get out of XRP, right? Near the top. Now, I said that Bitcoin would go to 125, and it did. So it went to 125 and a little bit more a couple days ago, and now it's pulling back. Now, it is possible that crypto or Bitcoin could go to 135 with the next upswing, but it will probably pull back pretty substantially before that, and then it will gradually go up and maybe even hit a new high of 135, right? Or even more. I don't know. So, I mean, trust your own intuition, right? For me, I'm not in crypto at all. I have benefited from this pullback because I felt it was coming, so I stayed in position for the pullback, and it's done well. Has potential doing a lot better, of course, if it continues to go down. So we'll see. I play it by ear, just like everybody else. But almost all the stuff that I have is in silver. Of course, I have a little bit of the gold and platinum, but almost everything in silver, right? So silver is where everybody should be. And of course, Dr. Kirk Elliott is, I think, the best place to have a good portion of your wealth right now, which should be in silver, right? So we'll get maybe it'll pull back in this silver and gold will pull back in this little stock market pullback, or maybe it'll keep going up. I think it's going to keep going up, but if it does pull back, another buying opportunity, right? Will it be a buying opportunity for the stock market and crypto? And so, like I said, it's probably going to swing back up, but you'll make percentage-wise, you'll make a lot more in silver, right? So I would stay in silver and keep adding to your silver position as it pulls back. Even at this level, guys, silver is still a buy, right? Still a buy, because we're going to see silver next year in the high 100s, right? Next year. And this year, probably, I think $75 to $85 for silver before by the end of the year. And if we have a major, tsunami and earthquake event, it's silver and gold probably just like go crazy up, right? And the stock market, not so much, right? Might go down and stay down. So a situation like that could be it. Yep. Somebody said in the chat, pray for California. Absolutely. Prayer does have a very good effect on these events. As you guys know, that's something I do. I'm constantly praying. So I'm bringing you this information not to make you fearful. And some people are like, strangely think this is like, oh, you're talking about this, you're going to make it happen. Like, no. I'm talking about this to basically give a warning, just like people have in the past. Just stop your evil ways, all right? And we'll see what happens. Because we know and it's not just the California coast I see tsunamis. I see tsunamis on the East Coast as well, right? So now when remains to be seen. I don't think that the East Coast gets a tsunami in the near term, but at some point, I do see it. So I'll keep you informed about that as it arrives. But I'm not seeing it anytime soon. But that doesn't mean it won't happen, right? So just stay frosty. Keep your eyes open. Watch, what's going on. I'll try and reveal as much information as I can. I'll go more into detail in other shows in the future as I feel like this thing may be getting closer. I'll do more, so we'll see. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Have a great weekend. I'll be back, of course, tomorrow and Sunday. Looks like I may be on Nino's show on Sunday early. When he posts that remains to be seen, but I'm going to be talking about the Charlie Kirk event. And because his audience is like, good mic on, let's get his insights. And so a lot of people look at that, for me, it's in the past. I've already moved on past that. I talked about it. I revealed what I felt needed to be revealed. There's still people trying to create some craziness out of that. And that's fine, because there's still stuff to be learned from that. Still more to be revealed. Who knows? Who knows what that's gonna eventually lead to? I think it's positive for the most part. I've talked about all this stuff. I think Charlie Kirk's still alive. I don't see him gone. I think it's involved in other programs. He was basically going to be taken out. So they created an event, just like they created an event in Butler, PA, right? Just like they created the event for the golf course where Trump was supposedly going to come by and get shot at the golf course. So that's probably why Trump himself is not on the golf course anymore. He's got a body double that golfs there. But they're like, don't worry, we're going to keep you safe. It's like, okay. So it's like, taking a shot. Maybe he's not on his shooting his best or whoever that is, as he normally would, because you got one eye looking the other way and one eye on the ball. So I don't know. So anyway, we love you guys. And we'll see you guys tomorrow and the next day. Stay in the love vibration.